Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle Red, and today we'll be going over my Odion Temple of the Kings deck profile that managed to go 3-1 at locals. Alright, first let's start with our main boss monster for the main deck, the Man with the Mark. This card says, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can take one Temple of the Kings or one spell and trap that mentions it from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Man with the Mark once per turn. But the real thing about the Man with the Mark is the secondary effect. While you control Temple of the Kings, this card and the Popus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And Temple of the Kings cannot be destroyed by card effects. That also includes your field spell Treasures of the Kings that counts as Temple while it's on the field. Next up is 3 copies of Anubis, the Last Judge. This card says it cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard, while you have 3 or more cards in your graveyard with different names that are Temple of the Kings and or traps, by placing 2 of them to the bottom of your deck in any order, which is really good for helping to recycle not just Temple of the Kings itself, but your Apopus trap monsters. But it just says or traps, which means we can also cycle back other trap monsters or our hand traps for later down the line. Anubis' final effect is, if a spell or trap you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls as cost, destroy it. And you can only use each effect of Anubis once per turn. Going on to a little extender, we run 2 copies of Merciless Scorpion of Serket. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 level 10 or higher monster from your hand or deck, while you control Temple of the Kings. You can only special summon Merciless once per turn this way. And once per turn during your main phase, you can add 1 Temple of the Kings or 1 spell card that mentions it from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to half of the destroyed monster's original attack. Next up, we also have the 1 Mythical Beast of Serket, which is just used to help get our fusion monsters in play. Next up, we run, how do we pronounce this guy? I call him Mr. Ducky. Mr. Ducky says, all monsters on the field lose 600 attack except Vernus monsters. You can discard this card and 1 monster. You cannot activate non-earth monster effects for this turn. However, you get the bonus of adding 1 fairy from your deck to your hand, except itself. And then you can special 1 earth monster from your graveyard. And if you didn't know, the scorpions count as fairies. Moving on to the hand trap monsters, we run Ash Blossom, 3 Nibiru, because if the matchup doesn't call for it, we can banish them off Scorpion, 2 Effect Veiler, and 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. If I wanted to play this deck without the Mr. Duckies, I would recommend increasing the hand traps, because there's not really much more you can do for the consistency of the deck. Moving on to the spells, 3 Treasures of the Kings. When this card is activated, you can set 1 Apopus trap card from your deck. This card damage becomes Temple of the King while in the field zone. Once per turn, if you have 2 or more set cards on your field or a trap card in your graveyard, you can add 1 monster that mentions Temple of the Kings from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Yeah, this card is very, very stupid. It is essentially 2 searchers in 1 card. The next step to search it, we run 1 Terraforming, 1 Temple of the Kings, 1 Pot for consistency, 1 Called by the Grave to stop those pesky hand traps. Moving on to traps, we run 1 Angel Statue of Azarun, 2 Super Rare Apopus the Swamp Deities, 2 Ultra Rare Apopus is the Serpent. We move on to Triple Dominus Purge, 3 more Imperms. And that will do it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we start off with 3 Divine Serpent Apopus. This card says its fusion materials are 2 monsters that mention Temple of the Kings. However, you never summon it through that method, you summon it by attributing 2 Apopus monsters you control. Once per turn, you can target up to 3 Apopus trap cards in your graveyard with different names, set them. We do not run the original embodiment of Apopus because it is just a garnet, it is a brick, and we're trying to minimize on that. And then once per turn, when the trap card is activated, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card your opponent controls as cost and destroy it. Now for our Temple of the Kings targets, we run 1 Naturia Exterio, 1 Grapha, just because, I don't know, there's room in the extra deck for a few optional choices. 1 Dragoon for casual negates, Cyber Twin Dragon in case, you know, it's just fun cards. And 1 card that did win me 2 games, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, because it is just a giant beatstick for Link monsters, Link Spider for Nibiru tokens, SP and IP. 1 card that did actually win me the game is Earth Charmer, because all the Odion monsters are Earth, and you can just resummon them to the field to get their effects. But the biggest boss monster of the extra deck is Silhouette Rabbit, which will be able to set any of our continuous traps and just have fun. We all know what Rabbit does. Rabbit's a good card. And yeah, I really like this deck. It just does so much. It is a very nice control-based deck. I might as well show off the side. My locals is mostly meta heavy. We run 3 Lancia because we don't like Malice, 3 Chaos Hunter because we don't like Malice, 2 Mules because we don't like Malice, 2 Purlia because we don't like Ryzeal, 2 Xyz Encore because we don't like Ryzeal, and 3 Solemn Strikes. Pretty self-explanatory side deck.